Experimental.
Can we just say I'm failing all over the place right now? My gosh. Okay, here we go. I'm going to double check this to make sure we're in the right category and stuff. I think we are. Oh my gosh, I got to double check this. Okay, you guys? I can't have us in the wrong category chatting away about this kind of stuff. People were coming to look at Elden Ring, not... Now I don't know how to check it. I just checked it a minute ago. How did I check it? Hold on. Let me go to my channel. Make sure. Okay, here we go. By the way, an update on Thursdays. On Thursdays, drawing, I was going to draw names out of a hat, but I found something even funner. Spin to win on my phone, and as you can see, I already labeled one Steam gift card giveaway. All of your names are already entered. Everybody who has followed me since I started this Steam giveaway, your name is on the wheel. I went through my notebook today, and if your name was in my notebook, it went on the wheel, which was lots of names. This wheel is really big, but I don't mind it getting bigger. So, first time using this app, let's see how, because see, like, I'll show you. I'm not going to open up the Steam. Well, I can open up the Steam one and show you. You can see all your names on it. Try and pick out your name. See? Boom. Your name is on there. All they have to do is hit spin 3 times and we choose 3 winners. So, get excited. This is how we're going to pick our giveaways from now on. We're going to spin to win, guys. Because I feel like that's fair, right? I want this to be fair. So I hope that means that it feels more fair, that it's a fair way, so. And then I will announce all 3 winners in a short video, and in case you are not online when you win, and I will also put your name in Discord. So you'll be announced in a couple different places. Just get a hold of me and tell me how to send you your Steam gift card. I'm excited for you. For 3 of you guys. And don't worry, it's starting small, but it's gonna get bigger and bigger. Okay, let's watch some controversial stuff.
And come with many, many faults. We're talking transgender individuals who go and get these surgeries and have bacterial infections for the rest of their lives, have follow-up surgeries for the rest of their lives, have a body that they are unhappy with. I won't even get into some of the graphic problems.
They said it's 60% of these people. 40%.
But I'm the one who doesn't care about trans.
Somewhere between 35 to 40% are successful, and 60 to 65 are not. And 60 to 65%, well, that tips the scale beyond half. Over half. So 10 people go in, 6 or 7 are unhappy, 3 or 4 are happy.
That's where I want to land in this discussion. I don't want to land in the, oh, well, I just blindly affirm them, and now, look, they're depressed, they have all these other psychiatric problems, and here's where we are.
Where did my
but
charger
I don't care
go?
about trans lives, right.
It's and right there, I think. Will you hand it to me?
You know, you say something that's distant to what everybody has already decided that they believe. And then
Thank you.
You get called a transphobe. And they'll tell you there's a million studies, and if you look into who funded the studies, it's people who already believe, they've already decided what the outcome of the study is.
It's right. She's right. And just to straight out say it, you're not transphobe if you care about someone, to care about someone in the right way. Like one person that's really popular shapeshifter, her parents were like, don't get it because then God will hate you. And she's saying, don't get it because do you still want to have kids? Do you want to be mutilated and messed up? Do you want to possibly have infections for the rest of your life? And it's undoable. So if in 4, 5, 10 years you change your mind, because let's go over development again. At 6 years old, your personality is 75% set. At 8 years old, something changes in your brain that clicks between right and wrong. So a 4-year-old saying, I want to be a girl, well, that part of their brain hasn't kicked in yet, okay? You can ask any psychologist, any therapist this. At 12 years old, your brain turns into a sponge, kind of like, not physically, but I mean, a sponge is the best way to explain it. Until you're 25. That's why people say between 12 and 25 is the best time to go to school, go to college, learn a second language, do everything you want to do. Because literally at 25, when that shuts off, your memory, you don't notice it for probably a good decade or so, but that's when you start to lose memories and your brain slowly starts to do its very small deterioration. It's so small, it's not noticeable for years. The symptoms don't show up for like 10, 20, 30 years. But because your brain doesn't just start magically deteriorating fast. It's an extremely slow process that starts at 25. So, after 25, have you noticed that it's hard to learn something new?
I'll read you this one part of this article before we move on to something else, which is just unbelievable to me. Let me find it. Gosh. Right at the top of this article.
Okay. We can watch this.
Okay, here we go.
We can see
Yeah, so these things are practiced and studied in Finland and Sweden. Here's the top of this paragraph here. These guidelines were in contrast to those offered by the World Professional Association of Transgender Health.
WPATH, that's a cool name.
I wonder why the World Professional Association of Transgender Health might have disagreed with what was said by Sweden and Finland's unbiased doctors. I wonder what amount of bias might be injected into the studies that WPATH is doing when compared to Sweden and Finland.
Like I said, my story doesn't exactly compare, but like when I went back to my doctor about the birth control, I wish they just would have made up to it that it was the birth control. Because you gotta, if your patient comes in and something went wrong, the doctor is legally obligated to inform the drug company. So if the doctor says, oh, yep, your problem is due to what we did, they have to call up the drug company and inform them. And that goes against their statistics, which are very important. Because bad statistics mean you might get canceled your very, very, very expensive drug. But doctors don't want to do that unless they absolutely have to. And like she said, money and fame. They will lose money and fame. If it doesn't work, they have to stop doing it until something better comes along. And that could be another 5, 10, 20 years for something better to come along, or never.
The issue is that it makes so many people feel good to go, yep, you are who you think you are, you know who you are. That woman on Fox News said her 1-year-old knew his gender. Or
No.
gender. I don't even remember at this point. Her 1-year-old was expressing gender dysphoria.
They don't even have barely any of their personality at 1.
By all means, you could have a gender dysphoric child, but your 1-year-old did not tell you that.
Not until you get in first grade.
And it's
He finally has his personality 75%
not only
set.
the extreme form of virtue signaling that this actually is, but that people are seeking points for doing this stuff. It really makes them feel good. And it shouldn't make you feel good at the end of the day. And I know that sounds bad because you feel like you're being compassionate, you feel like you're doing the right thing, but lying is not compassionate. Ignoring evidence is not compassionate. And throwing your child to the wolves when it comes to this stuff. A 1-year-old child, can you imagine?
No.
Can you imagine if I had a
Mommy, I have
1-year-old
the
child
hiccups.
and I said my baby who can't even talk yet is not
I
a girl,
have
she's
the
actually a boy,
hiccups.
and I started putting that child through treatment when they were old enough?
No, you tell your kid, back in the 80s and early 90s, we called it being a tomboy, and it was awesome. My sister was a tomboy. Proud tomboy. She loved boys. When she got into kindergarten, all she did was say, I want him to be my boyfriend. I want him to be my boyfriend. She'd go home, draw their name on her bedroom wall, and put some lipstick on and kiss the wall. I mean, but she hung out with only boys. She considered herself one of the guys. She did guy stuff. I was the girly girl, the emotional one that was hanging out with all the guys and stuff, and people were forcing me to be more like a man. Rose, you cry, we're gonna kick you out of the game. You gotta go home if you cry. And so I had to force, yes, I'm technically cisgender, but I wasn't allowed, with 3 brothers and a tomboy sister, to live my true nature as a girl. Does it matter that I was born a girl, that I wanted to be a girl? I mean, does that honestly matter? Or does the fact that I loved everything girlish and dresses and everything, and I wore dresses every day. I even got made fun of in the 5th grade for wearing a dress at football day because I didn't want to play football. And that made me be a cheerleader on the sidelines with the guys because it was girls' day to play football. You know, Mom. And so, I mean, like I said, I know it doesn't totally heavily compare to being a girl and wanting to be a boy, or being a boy and wanting to be a girl, but I was a girl that everybody kept forcing me to have the emotions and the tolerance of a boy.
Enough to start getting it, which now in the United States is, I think, 8-year-olds are able to get involved in this treatment and start doing puberty blockers. Can you imagine?
They just barely learned right from wrong.
Abuse to you? Because certainly a 1-year-old cannot tell you what their gender is.
No.
And you have now done something that will render them sterile. And to lie about that, even though it makes you feel good, is a horrible thing to do. I don't understand why we can't be honest. I don't understand.
Yeah, as you're saying, the willingness to overlook actual harm in order to spare someone from imaginary harm, or to make yourself feel good about the idea of sparing someone from imaginary harm, is insane to me. And the fact that we've seen over and over again, whether it's male prisoners who identify as a female prisoner be transferred and then they end up impregnating multiple women,
Right.
The day spa situation, the situation of the young man who raped a girl in their school.
Yep.
And some people, I feel like some guys that go to prison, and they ask you, when you go to prison, what sex you identify with. And if you go to the guys unit, and say you're like a child molester or something, I don't know, you know you're going to get your butt kicked. So they say, oh, I'm a woman. And so they get stuck with the women. And so they get to continually harass girls on that side, because the law has to honor what you say you identify as. Even if you don't, you just have to say you do.
We're leaving up not just the individual themselves who is struggling with gender dysphoria, but and often these situations where we overlook all of these harms and all of this damage that's associated with just denying facts and not looking at evidence for evidence sake.
But let's fast forward, because I think we got enough of this subject. I mean, but I think we got enough. Let's, there's another subject going on, something about the military. I guess we can see that.
I'm going to say, do what you need to do to save your own life and to make yourself sound mentally, physically.
TikTok or
Spiritually, whatever you want
tattoo
to say.
pronouns on hand.
It's a trend now. It very much is a trend. I want to show you guys this TikTok of somebody.
Is it? I'm gonna wonder, because I've watched that show, what you call it, Umbrella Academy, where he's like hi and bye, but now it's him and her, or something, or she or her.
Who has gone so far with this stuff that she's decided to tattoo her pronouns on her hands. Here's the video.
Yes, I would love to show y'all them and talk a little bit about them and why I got them. So these are my finger tattoos. I've got him on this side, which is my left hand. Got my feet on this side, my right hand, and I got a little tooth also.
Okay, you like teeth. That's
So I
weird.
got them done
Just kidding.
in September of 2019, right after my top surgery actually. But I've been planning on getting them for a while. And when
I'm sorry, but when I see it has nothing to do with their gender or anything, but if no matter who you are, if you showed me a tattoo of a tooth on your hand, because I'm in criminal justice, I immediately think, my brain goes to serial killer because they rip out people's teeth. Sometimes keep them.
one of the big reasons I got my pronouns on my hands was because I worked in food service and I would get misgendered a lot. And so when I worked at the register, people would hand me their cards and hand me their money, and they would have to see my fingers. And they would
Well, if you look at the eyes, they're very soft and female-like.
were very obvious. So I thought it would help me not get misgendered as much. I also love them. They make me feel very cool. But yeah, that's the big reason I got them, was because I wanted them instead of like pronoun pins. They were on me every day, and you could always see them.
No, you don't forget them.
Guys, so much to unpack there. You know what it reminds me of? Myself. You know what I have tattooed? A black power fist. You know why I got that tattooed? Because I thought this is permanent. There's no way I think anything different because of this. And so many people are cheering me on. So many people think this is cool, which is exactly the word that this girl used. Cool.
Yeah, see, I never got tattoos because I knew that I changed my mind a lot or something, and there's these pins where you could draw on tattoos. I might get those for me and my daughter. Well, I bet my boys will like it too. But you could draw on a tattoo and it'll stay for about a week because it only goes down to your first layer of skin. And so after a week, when you shed that layer, the tattoo's gone. And then the next week you can draw something new and something cool. And you could change it or have nothing.
It makes me feel cool. Who doesn't want to do something that makes them feel cool? Who doesn't want to do something that gets them cheered on by other people? Who wouldn't want to tattoo something that they think is going to be utterly permanent? Because they haven't heard anything different. They've always been told that this is going to be permanent. They haven't heard this stuff.
Oh, my sister, she's got this story. So when my sister was a teenager, she smoked weed, and so my brother and my sister and their friends all smoked weed, and pot was cool and everybody should be doing it. And they were looking for our friend Catherine one day, and I asked Matt, I said, why are you coming up to me asking me where Catherine is? Well, we want to get tattoos and she's an artist. And I said, duh, you know I'm an artist too, right? I got drawing books full of, and he's like, okay, and I handed him my drawing book, which was the worst mistake of my life, because Catherine got a hold of my drawing book. And she doesn't draw like me, she draws hard into the pages, and then she draw hard and rip out the page, but I can tell what she drew, because it's on the next page! I mean, artists should respect other artists' notebooks. You don't draw in another artist's notebook. If you borrow their notebook, you return it exactly as you gave it to them. Anyways, my brothers, they had some Ford Highboy trucks, and they had this sticker in the back, and it was a bunch of shrooms with faces, and they were smoking big blunts, and it, I don't know, said some kind of word on it. And so I drew a bunch of characters of mushrooms, smoking joints, different faces and whatnot. Well, they went through my book and they saw the shrooms. So my sister got one on her ankle. I think everybody got one on their ankle. And they still tattooed them too, so they weren't perfect. And everybody's like, oh, well, those are kind of cool looking. And it's like, dude, I wasn't there. I don't know how to tattoo. They took my beautiful drawing and tried to recreate it on their leg. And, well, anyways, years later, like 5-6 years later, my sister gets married. A year after that, she becomes Mormon, goes to the temple, and now she's has to cover up that tattoo. She's ashamed of it. That was that time in her life. She doesn't smoke weed anymore. She would never let her kids smoke weed. She's completely against weed and drugs and anything for pain and stuff like that. And, well, she got a bunch of tattoos when she was high, and now she regrets them now that she's a good girl.
Studies that say that you grow out of this. They haven't heard the studies that say that this is phasal. They haven't heard the studies that say that
It is phasal!
So why not get a tattoo?
Sometimes. Not always, but
I
a
can't
lot of
catch judgment,
times.
really. I can't say that this is stupid. I can't say that this is ridiculous. And I don't think it's stupid or ridiculous. I think these people are victim of circumstance. Same way that I was. And what did I do? I got it tattooed. It's a good thing I wasn't growing up in the age of gender affirmation, because I was a tomboy as a young girl. And guess where I would be? I'd be going like this and showing you he/him tattoos.
Mommy.
So who am I to cast judgment and say that this is
What,
stupid or
bud?
ridiculous?
Someone's broken with the computer.
Let me see.
Every time I unpause it, it doesn't make any sound. Outside the school.
Hold on, let me see if you accidentally changed the sound volumes or something. Oh, let's see.
See, look.
That's all the way. I think you gotta put it in this one, right here. This one.
I did.
Headphones, okay. Can you hear it now? Don't. You can't hear out of that port. It's this port.
I still can't tell it.
Hold on. Look. Headphones. Set up headphones. See speakers up there? Hold on. Let's make sure the speaker's on up here. Dawn, his speakers aren't working anymore. I don't know what to do. Hold on, let me go to sound. What are these? NVIDIA, Sensor, Pro Gaming headphones. I don't know if... Whoops, go back. Let's see. Add device. YouTube, wireless.
YouTube.
Okay, let's try this and see. Test. Do you hear that? Do you hear that?
What sound?
Okay, hold on. Hold on. See if you hear this. Do you hear that noise? You do? Okay, that means they're working. Are they working now?
So I did don't hear the sound.
Maybe it's a silent. Here, let's try another show. Maybe it has no sound. Can you hear this?
It has sound, but
Can you hear this?
Mhm.
Then that doesn't have sound. For some reason. Maybe later in the game. Does it have sound? Now?
What sound now?
Gosh, maybe the creator didn't know their microphone was off. Boy. Troubleshooting sound options. I'm tired of troubleshooting. You know, I literally I got to stream once yesterday morning. And then that was it. I spent all day troubleshooting sound options. And then at 6 o'clock at night, when I found out it was the mic itself, I had to order a new one off Amazon that would get here the next day that was a decent quality that I could afford. And luckily, my husband had his WoW money set aside and he hadn't paid his WoW account yet, because if he'd paid his WoW account, I'd be speaking off this mic, which just, it doesn't sound as good, it doesn't look as good, you know, it doesn't feel as cool. Like, once I got a mic like this, I felt like a real streamer. And my husband's like, can you go back to the other mic? I don't want to. Let's see. Let's fast forward. So, tattoos is a simple subject. There's a lot of people that regret them. Well, they regret some of them, all of them. My cousin, I watched her get all her tattoos removed. She had scabs and stuff everywhere. It was horrible. What is going on with my computer now? Great. Now my computer wants to make trouble. I'm tired of trouble. Can't I just go back to the days where I used to just stream and have fun? And not mess around with all these settings and crap? Whoops. That was weird. Didn't like that. I think it's my USB hub. On payday, I gotta order me a new one. Can't get a new USB hub till payday. And I'm gonna see how fast I can get one shipped to me.
Tragic. And here we have another video. Here's a teacher who has
Great.
pride classroom. What does the classroom turn into?
There we go.
Teacher also
What?
engages in drag outside of school, which we will talk about and have a really normal discussion about.
You're taking your students to a nightclub and you're what? Third grade
Not
teacher?
getting audio.
There's no audio here.
Club? Okay, you're a
Welcome to my
teacher.
high
You're
school
not a
classroom
party.
nightclub with a pride flag.
Say hello and
There
I
we
don't
go.
look like I'm my own friends. You guys, you don't know me.
Oh, it's so cool. It turns into a nightclub.
This
with
is
the
why
flashy lights
people
and the
are
rainbows and the
homeschooling their
music.
kids.
And on base level, you see this
Oh,
video.
I
and
need
you
some
go, "That's
lotion. My
fine."
hips hurt.
There's nothing inherently wrong about that. And you'd be right. There's nothing inherently wrong about, a little rainbow flag and a classroom that turns into a nightclub. I'm assuming that's not the link.
I mean, I'd, for maybe a kid's birthday or special thing, do like a party theme for them, like at the end of the day, like the last hour of the day, hey, let's put on a happy birthday theme, but adult themes like nightclub and stuff, and I don't know about that. I mean, she's being a little more lenient than I would be, because I would be like, so you're having nightclub parties every day, you're teaching, I mean, I've been in nightclubs, they're fine, whatever, but I can see some parents being like, hey, like my next door neighbors, hey, I don't want to teach my kids that nightclubs are fun. I definitely know they would throw a fit, and I understand, because in Utah you have the right to relate, well, in America you have the right to relate, to raise your family in any religion you choose, as long as there's not abuse in the religion or sexual, physical, mental brainwashing, cult-like things going on. I mean, that's the only time that we've stepped in and stuff, is when you see cult-like activity that could interrupt people's life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. especially life, you know? And so, and I was just saying that the other day, and I can't remember in what chat, but I was saying that, you know, more and more people are homeschooling and stuff because, oh, that was the Lady Pandas, because teachers have their own agendas nowadays. I don't know how it should be introduced to kids. I know in the 5th grade, they have the maturation program here in Utah, and that's where they talk about babies and boy and girl parts. And I always made sure that when my kids started 5th grade, the summer before they started 5th grade, I talked to them first. Because the maturation program confused me about guys and girls parts. They didn't look too different than me. I thought guys had uteruses and stuff, and I didn't even know what a uterus was for, and I didn't know anything about stuff like that, and it confused me. So I made sure, okay, I know the school's gonna talk about it, so I want to talk about it first. So if the teacher says I'm trans, and if the kid asks or notices or something, and the teacher should tell the parents that it could come up in class, and so giving you the opportunity at least to first talk to your child. And sometimes, yes, that can go wrong, because there are families out there that would be. I was a substitute teacher for a couple of years, and I was in a 2nd or 3rd grade class. I think 2nd grade or something. And this little Spanish girl started going, "I hate America, I hate America, I hate America." And I walked up to her, and I kneeled on the floor, and I said, "Hey," I said, "how you doing?" I said, "I heard you saying I hate America." She's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Why were you saying that? Where'd you hear that at?" And she goes, "Well, my mom and dad say that all the time." And see, the things that you say in front of children, if you hate America, talk to your wife behind her back. Make it work. And I did go a step further, which I probably shouldn't. I asked her, I said, "Why are you guys here in America?" "Well, the houses are better and stuff, and things are nicer up here." And it's like, well, then is America so bad? And I should have just stopped at asking her, where she heard it. I shouldn't have said, "Well, do you think America's bad?" I shouldn't ask her right back, but, just getting the info of understanding why she's in the middle of my class screaming to everybody, "I hate America," when, well, we're in America, And so that kind of upset me. And so, yeah, there's gonna be people that, if you say something to your class about you being trans, that a kid can stand up and say, "I don't like you, God hates you for it," and that's because, but, technically that's the parents' right. It's a hard thing, because technically you have the right to raise your child with your own views, opinions, religiously, socially, politically. You could be a teacher and stand up and say, "I'm a Republican," and the Democrat in the back of the room could be like, "Well, Republicans are the reason why this country's so bad. We need to just have Democrats only in there." That a kid could say that. And because the parent has a right, as a teacher, you don't have the right to say, "No, you need to trust me and believe me. I am your teacher. I don't lie to you. Republicans are the way to go," And then the kid will go home and say, "My teacher changed my mind. I'm Republican now." And then the parents are going to flip out.
Language would be used with the children. If they did, that'd be concerning. But there is when you dive into it, and there's nothing inherently wrong with the fact that this teacher does drag outside of school.
No.
Who am I to judge a teacher that does that? Also, who am I to know that a teacher does that? We don't know what.
But the thing is it doesn't teach her any job. You have a job jobs have dress codes, you know, jobs want you to dress and feel a certain way while you're there at work, and that's what they're paying you for. I know this. I have been in many call centers and other companies that have told me what to think the moment I step through my work doors. What I'm supposed to wear, what I'm supposed to think, what I'm supposed to do. And if I can't do that, then, well, there's the door. No big deal. We'll just hire somebody else. Because you know how many other applicants are out there? Bye.
What our teachers do outside in their private lives. And I'm sure a lot of teachers, both conservative and leftist, do a lot of crazy things in their personal lives when they are outside of work. I can't tell you what to do or what not to do outside of work. But when that ideology gets injected into your children's lives, the children that you are teaching, there is a problem. Because you know what's coupled with that. You know the pairing that's going to come with this. And you certainly know that this is not a discussion that we should be having with young individuals. Now, I just don't know what else to say. And you have platforms like Reddit and Twitter who saying, you know, we're going to ban the word groomer. We're not going to let anybody use the word groomer anymore. What is this, if not that? What is this, if not that? Obviously, this is a lighter example, but the teachers who are putting up these pride flags and talking about sexuality and doing drag queen story hours for their kids and saying
It just should be part of the curriculum.
girls can be boys and boys can be girls. What is that?
I mean, to have your kid in the maturation program, you literally have to sign a paper. And you can sign and say no, and they'll send your kid to the library for that hour. They will, and they have to honor that. And so if you have to honor that, you have to honor the other thing.
Is that not an adult?
And like I said, when I was in school in psychology, I told this on another one of my threads just like 2 days ago about me in psychology class. I brought up sex workers, and another psychologist got mad at me and flipped out on me and got me in trouble. And he had to reprimand me in front of everybody behind the doors. He told me, hey, Rose, love your personality. You're funny. I think just like you, but please don't say stuff like that anymore in class. We just can't.
Taking advantage of a child and leading them down a path of a certain identity.
Because it's like, yeah, you want to get kicked out of your university, your degree you're paying for, without getting your degree. Before you can get your degree, you want to get kicked out.
And is that not the very definition of grooming? And you can do grooming from a sexual level, you can do grooming on an ideological level, and you can do grooming on a political level.
Exactly what I said.
Because people attach the word to pedophilia, okay? And that's what makes people not want to hear it. But I could groom you into being an alt-right Nazi, okay? The word is applicable in so many different cases. And if it's not applicable here, it's not applicable anywhere, because this is exactly that.
It's
exactly that. Sorry, guys. That's what it is. And for our last story of the day, we're going to be talking about the woke Army College. Let me zoom in on this for you guys so you can see
I was wondering about this.
Talk about this. So the U.S. Army War College's newest acronym is DEI, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. And they're going to be bringing in all these parameters and things that have been written by different lieutenant colonels and colonels in the Army that are a means to address bias. It says, quote, interrupting bias in Army talent management. Another quote, highlighting diversity, equity, and inclusion, end quote. The authors accused the current Army of systemic bias and claim that such bias impairs Army's ability to harness cognitive diversity. We all know it's not cognitive diversity. Again, what a beautiful term, because it sounds like they're going to be accepting of people of all different backgrounds, of all different ways of life, of all different political beliefs, but it's not cognitive diversity. It's racial diversity. It's gender-based diversity. It's sexuality diversity, which means absolutely nothing. Keep reading.
Well, does it apply under cognitive thinking? I'm going to have to double check that. I don't know, but I mean, because they're calling it cognitive, but cognitive does have to deal with your personality type. The word cognitive is the definition is so big and so vast.
It is necessary there.
Because most of what I deal with in cognitive thinking and cognitive personality type is the Myers-Briggs, and so that's That's a cognitive. That's a wheel or leg on the cognitive train. A car on the cognitive train. I mean, yeah, it's a big train.
Right. To modernize personnel management so that current, quote, systems of inequality,
But I
end quote,
trust
don't,
she knows
quote,
what she's
impede,
talking about.
End quote,
She always
DEI.
does.
The goal of Army personnel management should be, quote, to create a more inclusive Army culture, end quote. Holt and Davis recommend using, quote, big data, end quote, and, quote, artificial intelligence, end quote,
Yeah.
for purposes of selection of leaders, assignments, and promotion within the military. I'll tell you what, you don't need big data or artificial intelligence to do any of these things. You need a pea brain to do these things, to look at somebody and go, oh, you're black. In. Asian? Nah, not good enough. Hispanic? In there. White? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Get out of here. You don't need artificial intelligence to do that. But
I love her. She's great.
I digress. Let's keep reading here. The Army's talent management, the authors write, need to support, quote, a variety of household structures differing from the traditional nuclear family, end quote. And by that pretty little statement that we just made, we mean that we're going to ask people what their sexuality is before they enter the Army, and we're going to choose people that are not heterosexual. So that's all that means. I love the twisting of language.
So basically, any race but white, and let's go something less controversial but cool. Let's go to Bailey's Dark History. I really want to watch this. It's called How Did We Go From Selling Soap to Selling Our Souls? Yo, what's up, John Walker? I'm doing some controversial stuff because I want to lay back today. I'm not feeling good. My stomach is just, today. I need more pancakes. I want more pancakes. They made my tummy feel better earlier, pancakes.
If you don't know, this is a chance to tell the story like it is, and honestly, to share like the history of stuff we would never think about. Don't worry,
Yeah, Dark History is great because she looks up all that cool stuff you never knew you'd think of.
If you've ever felt like the decision to buy something was life or death, we have one guy to thank for it.
Yay!
This guy literally wrote the book of how to manipulate people into believing they need certain things. And with this knowledge, he changed the way companies sold things forever. What an intro, huh? This man, his name is Edward
I'm intrigued.
Bernays. The first thing you should know about little Eddie over here is that his uncle was none other than Sigmund Freud.
Really?
If you don't
Nice.
know, Freud was known as the father of modern psychology. And
Yes.
he kind of like changed the game forever with some pretty controversial stuff.
Everybody's like, well, Freud was just about sex, and we're not about sex. But what was the last video we just watched? Everything had to deal with sex. Every single one of her topics. Sex, sexualization, sexual sex, just blah, blah, blah. The word is everywhere, okay? So stop making fun of Freud. He was ahead of his time, okay? He said it in a time when girls were scared to even show off their ankles, okay?
Studies, you know. Anyways, Freud was hot shit in the 1920s.
Yeah.
So being his nephew definitely gave Eddie some credibility. People assumed he was also like this genius who understood how the human brain worked because of his uncle. And this, for sure, gave him, you know, a leg up professionally. It's all about who you know, right? Or who you related to. Eddie dabbled in the world of Broadway and producing plays, which is super random. But I bring that up because Eddie killed it when it came to advertising, like the Broadway plays. He became known for selling out shows, which ended up catching the eyes of the U.S. government, who at the time was trying to create propaganda for the war.
Ooh, did he
The definition
create
of
the-
propaganda is information,
We want
especially
you?
of a bias or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. just in case you didn't know. If you're like me, when you think of propaganda, you think of like those really aggressive posters that are like, enlist in the army, go kill yourself. I mean, like, go kill those other people in the other country we hate. Just they're always yelling at you. Okay? They
Yeah,
can
I
be
want
very
you.
Persuasive. Usually you feel a little threatened.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that face and he's like,
And
I want
usually a
you.
bit one-sided. So Eddie, he came in, he was kind of like noodling his thoughts of how to make war cool to the public. Like, how do I get them excited to join the army like I did to get them excited about the Broadway shows, right? So Eddie ends up making war posters that were more like movie posters you can see outside the theater. So people walking by are stopping in their tracks and are like, oh my God, I love that movie. Like, there's one example where it's a poster of King Kong. And it's like, oh my God, I love that movie, right? I want to go fight King Kong and save out women. Where do I sign up? They just kind of, it looked fun, you know? So Eddie decides to take his skill set and use it in the world of advertising. So he opens up his own agency and starts taking on tons of new clients. I'm talking about TV networks, hotels, huge companies like CBS, General Electric, Dodge Motors, the list goes on. But actually, one of his most famous success stories was for advertising the, wait for it, hairnet? The hairnet. You know a hairnet? Yeah, that's his word. Random. I know. I love it.
It
But
is.
listen, this is how it starts off, because there's one hairnet company who was in bad shape.
Okay.
This hairnet company is like, you gotta get out of the slump that
On
we're
the
in.
edge of my
How would you
seat.
do it? No one had ideas. So they reached out to Eddie. Well, at first, Eddie thinks, okay, well, what if I get a bunch of female celebrities to tell the press that, you know, long hair is best to boost hairnet sales? But in turn, that was a big flop. It didn't work. So he had to come up with a new idea. Something maybe a little shady. Okay? He sprinkled in a little bit of his trademark propaganda spice. And instead of trying to make long hair happen, he decides to use a more powerful weapon. Fear.
Ooh.
Fear always works. When in
Yes.
doubt, scare them. One thing Eddie knew for sure was that if you scare people into doing
Look at COVID.
something, it works every time. Working for the government seemed to have unlocked something in him. Like, he realized people just want to protect themselves and be safe. So if you scare them, they will probably do what you say.
Yeah.
Okay? So how do you scare people with hairnets, right? That's the least scary thing I can think of. So Eddie consults with some experts, and they tell him, fact, the human head sheds about 150 hairs per day.
Yeah, well, you brush it? Oh,
It's
yeah.
normal, okay? Totally normal. But Eddie thought, what happens if, like, that hair gets in your food or, like, something? That's contamination, right? Like, you could pick out the hair, but...
So he's the reason why we
Right?
have those
Also,
rules in
at the same time,
restaurants.
something was happening within the workplace. Machines were starting to show up in factories. Now, if you remember back to, like, the Triangle Shirtwaist episode, or more recently, the
Yeah.
Gilded Age, you
I
know that
remember
these
those.
machines were causing accidents every day.
Mhm.
People were getting hurt, people were dying. It was brutal, okay? So this ends up being a light bulb moment for Eddie. Eddie's thinking to himself, wouldn't it suck so hard if your hair got stuck in one of the machines? You know, what if they use the hairnet to keep the hair out of the face and out of the machine? Sounds like a hairnet could save your whole life, doesn't it? So now he's got two things to work with. One, you should be afraid of hair in your food. And two, you should be afraid of getting scalped at work. Right off. Bald. And there we have it, baby. For the low, low price of one hairnet, you too can save your own life. That's how he was going to market it. Also, Eddie introduced to everybody that hair in your food is really gross. There was no science behind it, which is kind of odd, right? There
But it
probably
is
some
really
science behind
gross.
it by now, but
I
that's
don't
why
like hair in my
I'm
food.
just telling everyone hair in your food's gross. And everyone just believed it. Anyways, Eddie also went as far as hiring a fashion expert to say that the hairnet gave women a cool, fashionable look. You know, because at the end of the day, women just want to look good. And Eddie knew that. So he's like, we're going to tell women that this is going to make them look so good, like a Greek goddess. Oh, yeah. Hello, hairnet. I mean, this guy is leaving no stone unturned. And it worked.
Oh, I
So
bet
Eddie
you.
used his homie hookup at the U.S. government and got several states to pass laws requiring factory workers and female food service office employees to wear hairnets. So needless to say, this advertising campaign was a huge success. If you ever worked in like the food industry, you have to wear on your head or on your...
Oh yeah, I've worked in the food industry, and every time you leave the kitchen, you gotta come back, change your hairnet, wash your hands, put on a new apron. Everything has to be clean because you could have got contaminated outside that kitchen, and you could get fined if an employee just came back in and started touching the food. So before you leave the kitchen, you just take off your gloves, take off your apron, walk out of the kitchen, and then when you get in, grab a new hairnet and all that stuff.
Here. A hairnet. Thanks, Eddie. Wow. Anyways, hairnets ended up becoming essential for millions of restaurant factory workers across the nation. So this gave Eddie Jesus status. Like he was my dog. I was like, holy shit, this Eddie guy, he freaking got everyone on hairnets? And if you could sell hairnets, I don't know, man, I think you can sell anything, right? And word starts to travel pretty quickly just around the businesses, the corporations.
Wait till
And
we
everyone's
have
talking
the
about
blitz.
your
The
company.
blitz is where he
Boots.
dies.
Eddie is your guy. Eddie, let's be honest here, it was going to his head, okay? Because he's
Oh,
like,
he
wow, I just changed a bunch
close.
of people's minds about hairnets. And if I
To
can
his
change
death.
people's minds about the hairnet, like what else can I change
Close
people's
to
minds
his
about?
death.
Especially women. He got them to buy into safety. But could he get them to buy into empowerment? I'll tell you what else check out soon. Soon, one of the
Like you said, back in this day, this was, I mean, women didn't have much rights and stuff, I'm guessing. They didn't strive for power to become a boss or anything. Yeah, power's not going to appeal to a woman as much as a man at this point in time.
biggest
Let's see what he's going to do. I mean, she didn't say what year this is, but
This is the
I
part
mean, it
where
was
he
when
dies.
Freud was alive, so
Who
what, the
died?
20th or something?
companies in the United States at the time gives him a little ring. You know? You
The
get
light
it.
for
Boom.
death.
Guess what company that is? I'm smoking a cigarette. If you
It's
don't know.
finally
A company
death.
called Lucky Strike, the OG cigarette company. It's the most festive time of the year. Some people were a fan of mine. I'm not the biggest fan of going to the grocery store. You know, it's just like, it's overwhelming. Oh, meal at home. Give me all the
That's why
if you want to try your hair, but and strike was killing it, okay?
Oh,
It was
see,
the number
1920, I
one
told
cigarette
you it was the
company in the
20s.
United States. These cigarettes were being lit up and smoked by men all across the country. That was also the problem. Lucky Strikes were really only being smoked by men.
Yeah?
You know, the company knew that.
Once again, do we gotta say this was the 20s before women got voting rights and any rights, and World War II hadn't happened yet where women had to heavily step into the workplace because all the men were at war because probably this guy's posters.
Like, they could make way more money if they tapped into a market that was untouched by every tobacco company in the country. A market that would guarantee them millions upon millions more customers if they could just convince them that it was okay to smoke. That market, well, maybe you can guess it. They went straight to the source. Babies. I'm just kidding.
And that's why all our grandparents and great-grandparents died early of heart problems and blood clots and strokes and emphysema and you name it.
Do you guys remember that video of that toddler who was smoking cigarettes, just hanging out? It was like smoking like four. It went viral for.
Yeah.
Is he doing okay? Has anyone checked up on him? I hope he's good.
That's like that.
Anyway.
That is child abuse. Why don't people step in when you see pictures like that?
The real market that Lucky Strike needed to tap into, or at least wanted, was women. The problem was smoking. Smoking as a woman was heavily frowned upon in society, especially in public. Okay, society viewed women smoking in public as a sign that you had loose hormones and you should know better. Even a few years earlier, a woman, she had gotten arrested and tossed into jail.
Don't do
Well, plus, okay, so think about it. If men are the ones that primarily smoke the cigarettes, and you're a woman, and you want to smoke cigarettes, are you going to go outside on a smoke break and stand there by yourself? No. You're going to go outside, and you're going to stand in a circle of men while you're smoking your cigarette, and you're going to laugh, and you're going to talk with them, and the other women who don't smoke are going to be jealous of you, watching out the window, going, "Ah, she's talking to Jeff. I love Jeff. And look, she's making Jeff laugh. And oh my gosh, she's sleeping with him."
30 days for smoking in public. I mean, it's fine if a man smokes in public, but you little hussy.
Yep.
So, Lucky Strike
Little
realized
hussy.
in order to cash in on the lady market, they would need to literally change how society viewed women smoking. And how do you do that? Like, what's step one?
Bye.
This is important because you have to change people's perception on a huge scale. And, well, if you can
That's
sell
not
a
easy.
hairnet, then they knew there's only one man for the job. It's that Eddie. Eddie.
Yeah, you go, Eddie.
So
Make
Eddie
women
was
start
basically taking a
smoking.
page out of Coca-Cola's book and
Right?
putting it into women's brains. So we
Get
did an
women-
episode on Coca-Cola, if you remember. But
Smoke,
what
smoke,
was
smoke,
the
smoke,
first
smoke,
company to
smoke.
use a celebrity?
Oh, BTW, yeah, she does a great episode on Coke, which really did have cocaine in it at one time, and it's just really great. And just type in Dark History into YouTube. She's great.
In their ads. Her name was Hilda Clark, and it was very successful to have a celebrity posing at the Coca-Cola. Huge hit, great success. So Eddie is like, hey, let's hop on that bandwagon. And he decides to reach out to a bunch of female celebrities at the time. I'm talking Betty Davis, Joan Crawford.
Oh, the two big women at that time, and the two that were having a rival.
Sorry, no, not you. The actual famous one. Betty Grable. I mean, golden age of Hollywood. Okay, glitz, glam. People
And they were
together.
smokers. They worked on them.
So Eddie knew, there's something here. So Eddie got Lucky Strike to pay them something like $75,000 a year to endorse the brand, to just smoke or hold it or something, And this was a huge deal. First of all, it was a brilliant idea at the time, having huge celebrities promote a product.
You shouldn't
Today,
smoke.
It's not that shocking to us because we see it all the time, right, on social media. But back then, wow. So he got these women photographed with cigarettes sexily dangling out of their mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking, being mysterious with a cigarette. It was seen as kind of powerful too. And guess what? It started to work. Women started buying cigarettes like crazy. with
Oh, yeah.
Connect and stuff
I
like
want to
that.
look like that, too.
And-
Especially, what got women into smoking was when they put those long plastic things like Cruella de Vil had. And so then there was this long, sleek, fancy thing you could buy in black and different colors and sizes, and just, you looked high class if you could smoke off a plastic stick.
And all
baby.
the other guys in charge hired a psychiatrist to tell them the age-old question: what do women want?
Sex. Oh, what?
Our first thought is maybe we should ask a woman. No, of course not. They're not going to ask a woman. They know what we want better than what we want. So
Of
the
course.
men's psychologists, essentially tell them women want to be empowered. In 1920, women gained the right to vote, but that didn't mean.
Okay, so they had the right to vote by this time. Okay, I knew it was about the time that I thought it was somewhere around World War I that women got the right to vote. I just couldn't remember if it was before or after World War I. I actually thought it was after, in the 40s.
Oh, great. Dan.
I can be
There
wrong.
were still huge biases against women. For example, let's say you're a woman. Great.
I'm
Let's
a
say you're a
woman.
woman and you got pregnant. Well, back then you could get fired from your job.
Oh yeah,
Okay, not cool. Back then you couldn't.
there was unions weren't really around, and especially for women. I know my dad in 1980 broke his back, and he was in the there was no unions, and they said he slipped and hurt his back, and they told him, well, you can't stay home and rest it off for a couple weeks. There was no going to your doctor and getting a medical note. And this was in the early 80s, okay? 79, 80, okay? And maybe 79. And so he had to go back to work the next day in mines. And he slipped again, but this time that broke his back. And, then if they just let him rest, he wouldn't have the back pain he has now. It's all their fault because unions weren't around, and Utah is a right to work state. So they have a right to fire you unless it has to do with race, sex, religion, the top thing, politics, the top things like that, mental disability. But that came later, though.
You couldn't have your own passport or credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
And the worst one of all, you weren't even allowed to wear pants.
Nope. Not Dick Van Dyke, Laura on there. Laura Petrie was one of the first to start wearing those 3/4 pants, and that was controversial. To see a woman in the home wearing, I forgot what they're called, but those 3/4 pants. And that was in the, 40s, 50s? So controversial.
My thighs rub together too much, the rashes. It's not like you can use baby powder, that's just gonna kill you.
Oh, yeah. She does an episode on baby powder if you want to know about why she said that.
Kill us. Anyways, so Eddie's like, let's empower women. Let's do it. They want to vote. They want to smoke. So let's make them feel like they have the same rights as the men. You might be thinking, oh, hell yeah. Did Eddie team up with the government and get them to change the laws like he did for the hairnets? No, of course not. That's too much work. He's like, guys, we don't have to change the laws to empower women. We just have to make women think they are empowering themselves and sticking it to the man by encouraging them to go against social norms for the sake of women's rights. So Eddie decides to take advantage of the New York Easter Parade that spring and use this event for a little free publicity. See what he did? He hired a bunch of beauty queens, very beautiful women. Now these women were like the picture of femininity at the time. And he had these women stand in the parade.
Mommy!
And guess what they did? They pulled out a pack of Lucky Strike cigarettes and smoked them triumphantly. And people photographed the crap out of this.
Yeah.
Because first of all, a woman smoking a split is like running to a church weekend. Like heads would explode left and right. Beautiful women smoking, oh shit. It just didn't make sense. But Eddie's plan ended up paying off because after everyone saw these upstanding beauty queens smoking on television and in the news, smoking Lucky Strikes became a symbol of defiance and power. A woman smoking a Lucky Strike wasn't just smoking a plain old cigarette. Nay, she was lighting a torch of freedom.
I wonder if it said that on the package.
Torches of freedom. Torches of, it's kind of fun.
Yep. Torch.
Light them up.
Holds the torch high.
Middle finger
High.
Lucky Strike ran ads that said, women are free, and ancient prejudice has been removed. And women were like, fuck yeah, and just like that, baby, society got over the whole, you're a whore, you smoke thing. Wild. Almost overnight, Lucky Strike gained 4 million new smokers.
Wow.
Snaps. He killed it. Come on. Yeah, smoking's bad, but he killed that. I know it kind of reminds me of
He killed
Crocs.
them, he killed it.
In the beginning, everybody was like roasting Crocs and saying how ugly they were, remember? And then one day we logged onto social media and like supermodels and rappers were all wearing them, and then like everybody started wearing them, and I have some. I don't even know where they came from. They just appeared.
They're so hard.
know?
Except for when I was a CNA, nurse's assistant, for a little while. You could, for $60, buy these specialty Crocs at a nursing store. Oh, they squished beneath your feet when you walked, and my back pain went away. I had back pain every day as a nurse's aide until somebody told me, no, just go to the nurse's store and buy those shoes. You got to. And I did, and I was like, oh, and I wore them everywhere, and it wasn't because I thought they were cool. It was because the back pain went away.
So after this, Eddie's advertising techniques became like the standard for every marketing department. And everyone wanted to be like Eddie. Every company wanted their own Eddie. And Eddie was just the shit. He used hairnets and cigarettes. He killed it, man. So women were feeling sexy and empowered thanks to good old Eddie. But not for long. Because pretty soon,
sitting in their half hairnets, you know, that only cover half their hair with their little plastic thing and cigarette on the end, and like Cruella de Vil in a hairnet.
Companies realized that their customers wanted something else, even more than they wanted empowerment, even more than they wanted a cold drink on a hot day. The customers wanted sex. You heard me.
I told you.
Sex.
When she said what women want, what did I say in the beginning? You go.
Every year I tell myself that I'm going to do my holiday shopping for my family and friends like way ahead of time. I'm going to be killed with the phrase, sex sells. You know.
Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, it does.
Advertising technique. There have been studies that show when our brain sees something erotic, it releases good chemicals like dopamine, serotonin, and adrenaline. Oh yeah, when you see a little titty, when you see
Oh, yes?
you know, our brain is like, ooh. I mean, this isn't new information. The concept of sex sells actually like goes all the way back to the 1870s when another cigarette company or tobacco company called Pearl Tobacco, they did something absolutely scandalous. And they put a painting of a naked lady on the package. Now, this was pretty tasteful when you look at it now, okay? Honestly, it
It's
almost
art.
looked like
In a
just
way.
little painting of
Yeah,
penis
exactly.
on the shell. Back then, it was kind of, you know. Pretty soon after, another cigarette company called Duke & Sons jumped on the bandwagon and started putting collectible cards of famous women inside of their packaging. So it was like a little Pokemon, you know, you had to collect them all. And some of the poses were very sexually suggestive. There's one where it's like shows a woman dressed up in a little fairy costume. Love a good fantasy. And these cute little cards seem to really work because Duke went from selling 30 million cigarettes in 1883 to 100 million just the next year, proving that showing a little skin could be a big win. That's wild when you think about it.
That other one
Show a
was
little
showing
skin. You don't even have to be naked, just show a little
98% of the woman's body.
oh, my shoulder, okay, but sex sells really took off in the 20th century thanks to the advancements in advertising and print. And also, we can't forget Eddie Renee's advertising techniques. And guys, you'll never guess the ad that changed. The ad that made America so wet. America is so wet. No, it wasn't that
See, I
it's
told you not
magic
to
wand, which
dismiss
you think
Freud.
it was actually for a bar of soap. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Advertising got very dirty to sell cleaning products, which honestly is very fitting, right? In 1920s, the Woodbury Soap Company, they rolled out these ads that ran in popular magazines that featured paintings of young couples romantically involved. It was like a lover's embrace, and the woman's like fawning over the man's presence. And the man in the photo, or the picture,
That's so funny.
was just a man who represented like masculinity. Not just any man. He was a man who served his country, who's always wearing a uniform. So not only are they selling soap, but they're also kind of saying that men in uniform
Are the
attractive,
strongest.
to be desired. Like,
Yeah.
I need to take a soapy bath. You know, that's what it looked like to me, based on my
Survival of the
Now, this
fittest.
was a time before commercials and everything, so they really had to be, they being the advertisers, advertisers, the people who actually wrote the advertisers. They had to be really creative with their words. And the words were seductive, intimate. Most importantly, they were selling a story about your aspiration. If you buy our product, you too can have this life. Here, I'll read you one of these ads. It's beautiful. This ad is called Miracle at Midnight. And let me remind you, this is for soap. Okay? Breathless, you unmask. He takes you in his arms. A searchlight pierces your ceiling. And playing this day, you see love walk right in. He whispers, it's you. He wants forever and ever. Lovely as you are tonight. And well, yeah, bitch. Did you hear anything about soap?
No.
Well,
But
this is where
if
you
your
start to see
skin
ads
is
being
as
really
lovely
spicy.
as night and
And instead of telling
smooth,
their audience about the product or what it can do, they don't give a shit. The new thing to do was to make the customers feel like they were buying more than just a product. They're buying a lifestyle. They're buying sexual arousal. Or in this case, a sexy little softcore porn moment with a handsome soldier. Do you guys remember those Carl's Jr. commercials where Paris Hilton washing her car while eating a burger? Yeah, that's how we all eat hamburgers. Now, we knew it had nothing to do about burgers. It was just sex. It was hot. It was soap, right? But the message is the same. This product will make you hot and may even get you laid. That's like just the goal, right? I think that Carl's Jr. one actually pissed a lot of people off from what I remember. That was a good ad though because it got people talking. Woodbury soap wasn't done though because they came out with another banger in the 1930s. They became one of the first American companies to use nudity in print ads. Yeah, in the 1930s. These spicy little pictures were usually women in the shower or at the pool, and they were strategically covering their titties and like their hoo-has, you know? And in the ads, it promised to deliver filtered sunshine, which is kind of okay, you know? And how could you get this? Well, you could achieve this by using their soap, of course. This was a huge shift in the world of advertising because it went from sexually suggestive advertisements to straight up nudity to sell a product. But like that famous quote goes, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and pictures can be very influential. So instead of describing boring old soap, Woodbury could just show you like a beautiful image, tie the product to the image, and leave the consumer to connect the dots. Sexy lady, soap. Yes, I'm just one more soap away from being a sexy lady. I kind of feel that way about foundations and concealers. Like I always buy foundations and concealers because I swear it's gonna make me like this hot bitch. But I'm still me, you know? So when you really think about it, I mean, these ads could really be selling anything, right? We know it's a soap ad because there's a picture of soap and the word Woodbury at the bottom. But couldn't you just replace that with anything? Bingo, bitch, bingo. This is where we enter the era of companies selling a lifestyle. AKA, this could be you if you buy our product. This is when it starts to get nasty, you know? By the mid-1900s, it was almost like it didn't matter what your product could do or if it was really any good. It mattered how the advertisement could make you feel, right? And this is exactly the kind of tricks that were used to make diamond engagement rings a thing. Now you're probably thinking, wait, what? Engagement rings weren't always diamonds? No, Smitty. The only reason you have a whole Pinterest board of diamond engagement rings is because of advertising. They got you, bitch. The holiday season is around the corner, baby. And with it comes gift giving, lots of great food, and of course, a lot of photos, right? Even though I love this season, it brings on a lot of stress. And when I'm stressed, it always shows up on my face. No, I'm like, can't it be on my back instead? But no, it is. So, holiday photos, you know, they're always not my favorite because I have planets along my jawline. While we can't control other aspects of the holiday, we can make sure you feel confident and camera ready for your photos. And that's why I'm always excited to partner with Apostrophe. Apostrophe's goal is to help you feel confident in your own skin. Whether you're dealing with breakouts, signs of aging, or acne scarring, Apostrophe will help you love the skin you're in. If you don't know, Apostrophe is an online platform that connects you with an expert dermatology team to get customized acne treatment for your unique skin. Through Apostrophe, you can get access to oral and topical medications that use clinically proven ingredients to help clear acne. All you have to do is simply fill out an online consultation about your skin goals and medical history. Then you're going to snap a few selfies, and a board-certified dermatologist will create your initial customized treatment plan. Apostrophe offers access to prescription treatments for all types of acne, from hormonal acne to facial acne, and even back, chest, and butt acne. I mean, treat breakouts from head to toe, baby. They got you covered. I have been using Apostrophe for over a year, and I still love it. Apostrophe provided access for me to receive my first treatment plan from a board-certified dermatologist. I was prescribed lactone and take it once a day, which has helped my stress breakouts tremendously. I really like that my treatment plan was personalized to my skin, and that the prescriptions get delivered to you to my door. That's a bonus. The whole process from start to finish is so easy and very convenient. So, we have a special deal for my audience. Get your first visit for only $5 at apostrophe.com/darkhistory. You use the code DARKHISTORY. That's a savings of $15. Now, this code is only available to you, my listeners. And to get started, just go to apostrophe.com/darkhistory and click Get Started. Then use the code DARKHISTORY at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. I want to say a big thank you to Apostrophe for partnering with me on this episode. Now let's get back to the story. Welcome to the 1940s. Naked ladies are selling new soap. Everyone's smoking. Honestly, seems like a great time. And diamonds are dirt cheap compared to today. So what the hell happened, right? Because diamonds are not dirt cheap. Well, there's this company called De Beers, which makes me roll my eyes because it's such a missed opportunity to sell alcohol, right? De Beers, they sell freaking diamonds. Whatever. Anyway, so this company, they own up to 90% of the world's supply of the world's diamonds. But
that's what I was telling somebody the other day.
And they kept it a secret. So think of it like this. De Beers, this company, they have all these diamonds. They're cheap. They have a bunch. They can't sell them. Nobody wanted them. They weren't rare. Plus, they're clear. They're boring. They're basic. So the company's like, nobody wants these. How do we make them want these? We have so many. It's just a waste. So De Beers hires an advertising firm to help make diamonds the new it girl in the rock.
Oh, yeah.
So
here comes the ad.
De
They're
Beers rolls out
forever.
their famous, a diamond is forever.
Yes.
Diamonds are forever. Yes. Yes. And after
No, see, I got an aquamarine. Technically, that's worth more, or I don't know if it's exactly worth more than a diamond, but they sell them cheap, and they're technically more rare and worth more. Gems are. Diamonds aren't. You heard it. I thought it was the cartel that had like a 90% hold on them. I was telling my brother's friend that a month ago. I said, they got like a 90% hold on all the diamonds in the world, and they only let out what they want to who they want, and they have a total monopoly over the market, and you can't get them and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, they're plain, they're see-through, and they're not rare, and they're just because they're hard enough to cut some doesn't mean they're forever. You still break them.
After this campaign, the story of engagement rings was forever changed. So first, De Beers jacked up the prices of the diamonds by claiming that diamonds were extremely rare and difficult to get, which is lie number one. Difficult to get? Sure. I mean, I can't get one in my backyard, but rare? No, not so much. In fact, rubies, emeralds, and sapphires are all more rare than diamonds. And they knew this, De Beers. They knew this. But as we know, feelings can be really powerful in pushing consumers.
There are some gems out there that you can get a cheaper wedding ring if you just put a gem in that socket. No matter how big that gem is, you can get a good, see, mine's a good sized gem. It's a good size, like what, a quarter carat or something like that. And it's a good sized diamond. It's the size of like a popcorn kernel or something like that. And you know how much I paid for this wedding ring? Like $135. It's got 6 small diamonds, white gold band with my favorite color of yellow gold, crossing it with my husband's favorite color of blue in the middle. We got this ring to represent us. White is eternity, and we're wrapped around together around eternity.
Works to buy a product. I mean, you mess with someone's emotions, that's how they get you. And the De Beers company knew that, so they exploited one of our most basic and simple emotions: love. And baby, we love. Love.
And then next they came up with the slogan of, 2 months worth of paychecks, or you don't love her.
Love, right?
Or a whole month's worth or something like that.
And using newspapers, magazines, movies, and even going across the country giving lectures at high schools, right? De Beers representatives convinced America that diamonds equaled love. They pushed, baby, they pushed hard. And now
I want to know the percentages, because I've only met literally a handful of, my daughter-in-law does not have a diamond on her wedding ring. I've met a couple of friends with like tiger's eyes and whatnot. My daughter-in-law's got like an onyx or something. It's really pretty. It's big and it's pretty. And I bet, like, my husband was buying his first fiance $1,000 ring. He had it on layaway, and he wanted to get me one $2,000 ring when we were engaged. I said, no, you're not spending. And when we went in a few years later, because I wanted sapphire instead of aquamarine, because sometimes you just can't see the blue, and I really wanted a blue, cobalt blue kind of. $700 and I think $50 to get the ring that I selected. And I was like, no. I said, if I spend $750 on this ring, I mean, first of all, we would have to save up months. I mean, we were broke and we barely could buy anything for our wedding and wedding reception. We asked people to help out and stuff, and I mean, we were just broke, okay? We both just worked in call centers and didn't make a lot of money.
not only that, the bigger and more expensive the diamond meant a stronger, more loving relationship. They even came up with their own statistic, maybe you've heard of it before, about how a proper engagement ring should cost about 3 months of your salary.
3? I said 2.
Which, side note, I didn't know that was the thing. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 months. Maybe it's 2 months nowadays. Maybe they lowered it, and it was like 3 months back then. But I thought it was 2. I'll have to check that out. But they at least 2 months. But I trust her. She's got a real good team that researches this stuff, and so she's very rarely ever like wrong. So I don't have research teams myself, and that's okay. We got a Marvel show coming up in 45 minutes, guys. I gotta find a Marvel topic.
Until we started doing research for the story, and I was like, you better not be spending 3 months of your salary on a freaking ring, you guys. Are you guys doing this? I'm not judging, but
No.
come on. Are you okay? That's a lot of money. For a ring?
I couldn't even spend $500 on my wedding dress. I had to have my wedding dress homemade
I'm not going into debt over a ring. You
for
know, that makes me
$100
sad.
instead
And plus,
of.
it's like we kind of been conditioned to think it's just old ancient tradition, but no. De Beers just had some extra stock and they needed to make some money. That's what it comes down to. But this worked because people started to believe the hype that diamonds were not only highly valuable, the ultimate way to express your love. And again, you love, right? And diamonds equal love, right? They knew that. They messed with us. They're playing with us. It makes me sick. Hey, but do you want to know a fun fact, though? This is actually super handy. This could actually save your life, okay? I think I learned it on Oprah or something. Diamonds can literally save your life. I hope you're never in this situation, but if you're in a car, and let's say you drive
Yeah,
into
you
a
gotta
lake,
cut your
bless your soul,
glass.
you're going down. Water rising, surrounding you. Guess what? If you have a real diamond, the diamond can break the window. Yep. Boom. Break the window, get out, save your life. I'm not kidding. That would be a really bad time to find out that it wasn't a real diamond. But if it is a real diamond,
Yep.
it will break the windshield.
Your
Should
wife
we really
dies
mention that
because
right
it
now?
wasn't a real diamond.
Diamonds can save your life. Like that would just have a diamond. Dude, should you have a diamond on deck? Just keep it in your car. You know? You're welcome. Subscribe for more life-saving information. Anyways, so that's the one thing that's nice about diamonds, I guess. Break windshield. Oh no, I hope I didn't just give people
Ugh.
knowledge.
I hate my boyfriend. He dumped me.
No. So
Oh,
De
you want the
Beers
diamond
teamed
ring
up
back
with
to you?
Hollywood to put diamond ads on the big
Put her
screen,
on the broken
like
window.
the James Bond movie, Diamonds Are Forever, right? And they got the money to fork out, like whatever these people want, so they can get diamonds in front of their audience, right? And if you see James Bond being all sexy and hot, talking about diamonds, like, it's so rude, right? It's so rude. Anyways, ads for De Beers engagement rings usually shows like a picture of young lovers getting married in beautiful locations or on sexy little honeymoons. And De Beers has convinced the American public that diamonds were the perfect stone for an engagement ring because of allegedly how strong they were compared to other gemstones. They're pretty much telling you, like, do you want a man to prove he loves you by spending a stupid amount of money or not? I mean, yes, of course you do, you know? Nothing wrong with that. Just keep in mind, someone told us so. Don't go
Yeah.
into debt over it, you know? But what I'm getting
You're not born thinking, wow, in 20 years I gotta start saving up for a diamond.
at is how scary advertising is, because this shows how powerful this one campaign was, this one about diamonds, and we all believed it. I mean, I always thought diamonds were so expensive, like it meant luxury, money, it's a status thing, right? But in reality, they're not even that special. You've been called out, to Pierce. Unless you want to gift me some diamonds, I'll take it, you know? Anyway, the whole rebrand really pays off for De Beers. To this day, A Diamond is Forever is known as the most successful ad campaign ever. Before, something like 10% of engagement rings contained diamonds, but after this campaign ran in 1948, diamond sales went bonkers. Today, 87% of Americans report that they prefer diamonds for an engagement ring. You might not even know the brand De Beers, but if
I
you've
never
ever thought
even
about
watched that
wanting
commercial.
a
I've seen
diamond
bits and
engagement ring,
or
you're doing
music
exactly
video. I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I need to watch it someday.
When you really think about it, right? But I guess at the end of the day, a diamond ring is a status symbol, just like a designer bag or
Yep.
I don't know, private jet. I don't know. So, and again, like, I'm not judging if you have a diamond ring or anything. Do what you want, get what you love, right? I'm just giving you factual information that they fooled us into thinking, you know, it's rare. Anyway, so over time, companies have just gotten better and better at exploiting basic human emotions.
Oh,
They
yeah.
try convincing us, if you don't buy this thing, how are you supposed to show someone you love them? Which is a gigantic lie, you know? What are we gonna do about this? Diamonds are forever! One big thing
Can't
to
you
know is that
put that? No.
advertising is attached to whatever technology is hot at the time. And the thing about technology now is that it's literally everywhere. Back in the day, back in the olden days, radio and magazine ads were everything. But after World War II, the United States was on like a major upswing. People could afford cars. They could buy a house. They would get the Sears catalog and be able to buy stuff in there on like a single salary. I know. Can't do it. What is that like? So the American middle class shows up on the scene and they're just like, living it up, right? Buying stuff. And then, you know her, you love her, you're probably watching her right now. I'm talking about the television. The television comes onto the scene. The boob tube, as some people call it, which I learned researching today's story, that they didn't call it the boob tube because there was boobs on TV. No.
What's that?
Boob is another word of saying dummy. And some people believe
Yeah, I was
that you
talking to
watch
Rick.
too much.
It's
I
funny.
thought being a boob was the one that cried a lot.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a boob, don't be a baby.
So,
Baby's
I
crying
have
when
much
it's
snow.
milking.
It snowed a little bit out there.
Yeah.
It was funny. Chris went and picked these guys up from school.
They would become a giant dummy. Boob tube. How come women's parts are always...
What's that? The dinosaur? Oh, not dinosaurs extinct,
Oh.
man. Turn it over. Turn the belly up.
No, boob?
Belly
Why is
up.
boob dumb? Boob gives life. Boob
Turn the belly up.
feeds babies. You like boobs. Why are we shaving them? That's talking. Okay, look. It didn't matter though. Boob tube didn't matter. If it made you dumb, didn't matter. People wanted one. Everybody wanted TV. It was new. It was exciting. It was technology. It was the freaking future. But before World War II, there was only a few thousand Americans who owned television. And by 1955, it was said that half of the country had one in their home. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think that's a big jump. You know what I'm saying? So this
Oh,
had
totally.
companies salivating. Why? Because now they could promote their products directly to the consumer in the comfort of their own home, visually. So think about how vulnerable you are on the couch. Probably there, you got no pants on, looking like a mess, and like companies are showing up like, you need this. You need this to be beautiful. It's like, yeah, companies knew that. They knew it, and they got you. So the rise of television, more people are tuning in, more people are watching it, and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which has been around for freaking ever, and also the Super Bowl, were bringing in millions of viewers. Millions of people are watching this. And advertisers realized that they could get maximum exposure on television. They don't have to worry about where to put a billboard or like who buys what magazine. Everybody was watching TV. So for example, the Super Bowl in 1990 had 80 million viewers, which is like insanity. So companies and advertisers are seeing this thinking like, jackpot, who's got to get in front of these people, right? But the thing about the Super Bowl is that it's only so long. Not every company can get a spot, right? So bidding wars begin to get a hold of those coveted advertising slots. The price of airtime goes up and up and up. And
Why not?
companies were paying essentially like $1.8 million for a 30-second.
Oh my gosh, in what
I
time?
wanna know.
What time?
And it's always for something.
Because it's probably like 10 million
stupid.
today.
Like, people are gonna buy it anyways. I don't know. Give me an ad for something I haven't seen. But what I'm getting at is like, this was a hot commodity. Okay, you wanted one of these spots. TV owned the advertising game for quite some time until one thing exploded onto the scene in the 90s. I'm not talking about chips. I'm talking about the dial-up beat, the world wide. www.aol.com. www.geocities.com. Sorry, let me ask you guys something. A little personal question. Getting real close. It's a very intimate question I'm about to ask you. Do you ever feel like somebody's watching you?
I'm telling you, Mommy,
But
Mommy, will hit me?
Anyways, so, no, not in like your backyard, like in a stalker way. I mean being stalked online. Companies, I know everyone can relate to this. You're talking to your friend's telling you like, oh my god, I bought this cool little bug zapper thing. This literally just happened to me like the other day. I got this bug zapper thing. It zaps the bug bite, whatever. And like 20 minutes later, boom, there's a little advertisement for it on your social media. And it's like, what the hell, you guys? Are you listening? Yes, I will buy the thing, but like on my own terms. The ads I get on my social media are wild. Sometimes I feel like somebody like implanted a tracking device in my brain, and it's just like, how do they figure this shit out? It's creepy. It makes me uncomfortable. I'm addicted, so it's like, you know. But it doesn't. It gets you thinking like, how are companies doing this? It's very complicated how they do this. So I'm giving you the light version. Okay. So let me just tell you this straight up, and everyone should know this. You are indeed being stalked. Okay. Facts. Companies are getting better at knowing what we want, what we're looking at, what we're doing. They're tracking everything, okay, on your phone, computer. Anything with technology or like connects to the internet, they're tracking your ass. Remember back in the day, like TV and
there's
stuff before the
VPNs
internet,
nowadays.
everyone used to see and hear the same ads, right? One of my favorites was JELL. It's a lie. Yeah, I like that one. But now ads are very sneaky. They're everywhere. Everywhere, especially on your social media, and they're trying really hard to not look like ads. The first president of Facebook actually called social media a quote, social validation feedback loop, meaning big companies like Instagram and TikTok, they learn exactly what we want, and then they use that information to keep us scrolling, keeps us on the app longer, and also because it feels like the app was made just for you. And guess what? It was made just for you. This is when things get real complicated, because it went from like advertisements that we all saw to now personalized advertisements. There's this little man who lives in your phone. His name is Algorithm. You know, Mr. Rhythm. He's keeping track of anything and everything you're doing. Yeah, Mr. Rhythm. Look at you. So one ad that always follows me everywhere is freaking Revolve. Yeah, I'm calling them out by name. Revolve. Okay, you guys harass me. Okay? You need to stop it. He's like, oh, look, those shoes or something. Guess what? Those shoes are really following me all over the place.
Not fun.
On like Ancestry.com, like, oh well, my great grandmother. Oh, Revolve. Like it's like, leave me alone. You know, I don't want shoes. I don't know how my grandma died. You know, maybe you were looking up those engagement rings, Barbara. And then everywhere you go, you see them. Every website, engagement rings just follows you. Tracks your every move. But what are you supposed to do? Delete Instagram? I know, that's like the realistic answer. But you're not going to. I want to know what my friends are eating for dinner. And I also want to show everyone how good I'm doing. And that's the whole point. These social media platforms, they want to keep you on the platform. You're addicted to it because of those chemicals, like we mentioned earlier with the sex cells. It's the same thing. You get serotonin.
If I was a woman and I was trying to get famous back then, I would have took controversial work for it.
Because when it comes to digital advertising today, tracking is
and take that huge chance that I did it right.
Drive, what you drive, when you drive.
Wow, this one's almost over. I thought it was going to be mostly about soap.
I mean, literally everything.
But it's gone into from cigarettes to soap to diamonds.
If you're carrying your phone with you, it's fair game, really. The worst part is when you really sit down and think about everything that you confess to Google.
So can you send it in?
We tell Google our deepest, darkest secrets, fantasies.
Roblox won't work.
And most of us would probably be very embarrassed if other people found out.
You gotta sign it in.
Googling. You know, like last night I was up Googling who gave me this purple rash.
You're signed in. What is once is it needs to upgrade.
Google doesn't judge. No, she does not. Most importantly, you assume that it's private. Like writing in your diary.
Mommy,
It's not.
I liked the new mug you got.
Oh yeah.
That they then use to sell you shit.
I'm glad I got a new phone. I don't think it's clean though.
It's actually quite simple.
I think Steph's already calling
Say
me.
you're shopping for a blue light to do some like undercover ancient ghost sleuth.
Yes. I want to know how to do that.
Can we open this one present tomorrow?
On Christmas Eve.
And I was like, which one's the best?
I let you guys open the candy jar. We're gonna order some candy on payday for it, okay?
All of
We gotta get to payday. I don't have money for candy right
Orange
now.
lights, black lights, ghost lights,
But I
strobe
wasn't
lights,
doing this
flash
in
lights,
Pocono.
push lights. I was like, damn.
On payday. That's only tomorrow might be payday. If we get lucky, we get our check
Ads,
tomorrow.
Instagram reels, you're getting those annoying pop-ups. Your friends are getting ads because the company is really living on a prayer, hoping your friend will buy the product or maybe, I don't know, they'll buy it and then recommend it to you or something, you know? So this actually has a name. It's called pull advertising.
I don't have Amazon,
It's
and it
advertising
wants.
that is pulling you towards a product.
Go show this to Daddy. Say it needs an update, and it wants to sign in for the
It's
update.
different from like a billboard or a magazine ad where
What? I don't know how to set up another Amazon account. You want me to just set one up under my name? Here, I'll just set one up under my name. Okay, start here. It doesn't hurt, right?
And we are on there.
Yep. Good job. You know our flag.
Jackie, I know our flag.
Okay, let's see what more she has to say. We're almost done, you guys.
pushes out.
Are you guys enjoying her? You guys like
It
this?
makes sense when you think of it like that. They're trying to pull you in.
I'm so
Billboard
smart.
is pushing a product out. Plus, the billboard doesn't follow you home at
Mommy,
night,
I'm
right?
so
And before we
smart.
leave this section, I just need to say, if something is free to use online,
Mommy,
be
I'm
very
so smart.
all companies have to make money.
Mommy, I'm
All
very
those free
smart.
websites, free apps that we use, yeah, they're
Mommy,
making
do you like the shirt I'm wearing?
like Instagram.
Mommy, do you like the shirt I'm
So how
wearing?
in the hell did they make $30 billion last year if one was free? Because we paid for the ad, not with our money.
Okay, hold on. It's sending me an
You're
email.
selling your Google searches, your app.
I know.
downloads, where you're
It's
driving,
horrible.
What time you leave the house, how many Starbucks you pass. You're selling all of that information to advertisers. And we're not the only
But what
ones
if I
who watch
don't
it.
drink
One of the
Starbucks?
biggest and most
But then I won't get my
valuable
chocolate
audiences
vanilla
are
soy latte
But
thingy.
what about the children? Yeah, the children. They are targeted harder than anybody else. Millions
Oh,
of kids.
of course. Look at my children. Mommy, mommy,
Actually, the
mommy, I
company
want,
that
I
owns
want, I
this
want, I want, I want, I want.
just got sued for taking advantage of children in the UK, not here because we don't care. Just a little while ago, when kids signed up for Instagram, their accounts were automatically set as public, so anyone could view their profile. Besides the pervs coming out to play, it also meant that these kids were a gold mine to companies because they could just bombard them with ads. You gotta get them young, penetrate those markets. Now, a lot of us adults know when and like how to keep scrolling when we see those ads, right? The
Oh,
kids,
of
they don't know
course.
any better. They don't know that it's an ad. They just don't realize it like we do, okay?
I think my son just hit some
Play,
robot
their phone
ads
numbers
today.
and their emails and personal information were getting collected.
I really saw my robot.
And for once, Instagram actually got in trouble for it in Europe. Because here in America, they don't give a shit. I guess parents in Europe sued Instagram for violating the hell out of child privacy laws. And like,
I guess I got
this is
him.
good because
What?
the courts also
This isn't in
were
English?
agreed. And now Instagram is on the hook for a $400 million
What is
fine
it, Mom?
and had to find ways to keep kids safe.
You can't play.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and say I don't trust them. I mean, they did in Europe, but they're not gonna do it here. So it's like, do they care? No, they don't. They never did. They care about money and data. And then don't even get me started on TikTok. TikTok is so dangerous, and I know everybody likes to hear it because it's such a fun app. But
I know, I think I'm gonna
they
have to get a
also got
TikTok, ain't I?
millions of dollars in fines for violating the privacy of kids just so they could sell ads. And then in 2021, TikTok made about $4 billion in advertising revenue. Bitch, this is just the tip of the stalker iceberg. Because you don't even need an account on TikTok to track you. So has a friend ever sent you a link to a TikTok? Well, if you clicked and you watched it, they've gathered some information on you.
Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Okay, I have an Amazon now.
They gotcha, bitch. But here's the thing, pretty much every website does this. Every single website you go to.
I had to play
the minute you land on
Roblox.
their page, they are taking notes on the
Mm.
product.
I already know my Fire tablet.
Now I know what you're thinking, like, but I bought a ton of stuff from social media that I love. And was that because I found it, or was it because it was served to me? And I don't know. I don't know.
No.
We're on the internet, you know? But what I do know is that the grabber I got on Instagram, it lets me grab the pickles without getting the juice on my fingers. Yeah, it's really great. That was a good one. Thanks. I don't like pickle fingers. But I love pickle. So some of you are probably like, okay, whatever about all this. But you should be concerned about your data because it's so much more valuable than you think. More than any one company would admit. No one would admit that you entering your information into an app is like 12,000 people staring into your living room window while you...
Okay, it should upgrade it now.
Advertising started as something we saw when we drove by. That was it. It was on a
It's so
billboard.
happy.
Now it follows us everywhere. It just doesn't stop. There's no boundaries. We're safe nowhere.
Who has? Some people just don't have boundaries, you know.
Smart refrigerators can be fucking great.
Hey, I want one of those.
I'm buying notes. You know, like it's intrusive.
One day I will get the smart refrigerator, my dream again. I bought a good refrigerator in my last home when we moved out, and they wanted to make, my neighbors bought our house and they wanted to make the deal that I leave the refrigerator. And the people that we bought this house from took their refrigerator. So we didn't have much money, so we bought a $300 refrigerator
Hot dog place down the street without a targeted ad.
off out of the newspaper ads. And so I got a simple $300 refrigerator.
Easier to track every single thing that we do and think. They're predicting what we're thinking.
I know, I think if I get a smart refrigerator, it'll probably scan my brain as I walk past.
Mom, tell me how to build mystery soda.
Someone else has convinced you that you want.
Yep,
You know?
exactly.
Well, dive into the game.
Make up your mind for yourself,
Mommy,
guys. Don't trust the people
Mommy.
say, hey, I got this, I did. You know when, I remember when me and my husband were engaged, his brother was engaged to somebody else, and all he could afford was this one single tiny little diamond. It was like a fourth the size of my stone. And I remember Dawn's 8-year-old sister, the first thing she says was, oh my gosh, that's small.
Mom.
What?
Can you tell me how to build mystery soda?
Mystery soda?
Mm-hmm.
M-Y-S-T.
S.
T.
What?
T.
Oh.
E-R-Y.
My plans mix up because it's too fast.
There you go, mystery soda. No, I hate spelling stuff for them, man. It sucks. You guys are getting so tired again. Okay,
Sometimes it's like, you know when you see
we're gonna watch some Marvel stuff in 20 minutes. Let me go downstairs and figure out dinner. Let me go downstairs and figure out dinner. And then we're gonna come up here and we're gonna be mad about Marvel, okay? Whatever that means, being mad about Marvel, okay? You guys, so I'll see you in 20 minutes, okay? You guys are great.
Mystery soda.